This week, my friend asked me if I wanted to go bear hunting. For me, having my own business, you know, I need to plan way ahead of time to do stuff like that, to do little escapades, to do little adventures. And so at first I said no to him. And I went back to work. I kept working on my to-do list. And at the end of my day, I kind of looked at the clock. It was, I think, 7 p.m. I clocked out at that time. I didn't have time to work out that day. I felt good because I accomplished a lot work-wise, but I just kind of felt incomplete. I think part of that was because I didn't do any physical activity, but also I just don't think that humans are made to be trapped in a box all day long. For me, I work from home. I just don't think it's good for a human to stay in the same seating inside all day looking at a computer. So I had that reflection, and I also asked myself, why am I doing this? I think as entrepreneurs, as creatives, as business owners, I think that's something that we all ask ourselves quite a bit. And obviously what came to mind, as it usually does, is so that I can provide for my future family, so that I can have a beautiful life, so I can live for my passion, make good money, go out on adventures, travel, all that good stuff. But that was the first answer that came to my mind. And I think the best way to put that in one sentence would be to do cool shit. That's kind of my why, like there's the family side of it. Like, of course I want to have my own family, I want to have my own children, but the rest of it is just so that I can do cool shit. And then I reflected back on my day and that moment when my friend asked me if I wanted to go hunting, and I said no. I was like, dude, that's cool shit. Going bear hunting on a Thursday, I think that's pretty cool. And so I called him back immediately and I said, you know what, let's just go. I'm gonna forget about my to-do list for that one day, and I'm gonna pick it back up on Friday, and I'm gonna try and do my best. And maybe I'm not gonna work as much this week and have to catch up a little bit on some work next week, but let's just go. And we ended up going hunting, and we didn't get anything. Otherwise I would have shown you in that video, but we just sat around all day outside. I had time to do pretty much everything I love about hunting. And by the way, that's just me. Like, for you, maybe the cool shit is not going out hunting and fishing. Maybe it's going for a run. Maybe it's traveling to a different state or a different country. The point of this whole thing is that I think as entrepreneurs, as whatever you are, creative, even if you're just an employee and you really dedicate yourself to your work, we always try to find the balance between work and life. And there's just so many opinions on this on social media, and there's people on one side saying there's no work-life balance, everything is just a blend of life and you shouldn't differentiate one from the other. And then there's this whole other side of the spectrum where people say, oh, well, you can't go too hard at work because you're going to burn out, or don't have any balance when you're starting something, when you're building something new. At the end of the day, I think all of those opinions just don't even matter to me. As always, everyone has different ways of functioning. Everyone is different. But to me, I just want to do cool shit. So if business is going to get in the way of me doing cool shit, I'm just going to set it aside for a moment and go do that thing. Now, obviously, there's exceptions where, I have an important meeting, I have an important shoot where I'm not going to be able to do the cool shit that day. But whenever you can, the point is, I think, ask yourself why you're working so hard. And if you get an opportunity to live a full day of freedom and the cool shit that makes you want to work harder in order to achieve that life in a more consistent way, well, I think just do it now. What's stopping you? We all know that life is unpredictable. You might not wake up tomorrow, you might not wake up in 2 years. We don't know what's going to happen. So why work so hard on something to achieve A, B, or C when you don't even know if you're going to get to that point? And especially if you can get that outcome, even if it's not going to be consistent, even if it's going to be just for one day or just 1 week, you can get that outcome like right now. So why not take it and just enjoy it? Set work aside for a moment. And I think that's really the secret for me to balance work and life. It's to prioritize cool shit, prioritize the stuff that I want to do. And sometimes that's going to be work. No one likes working all the time, but there's a moment here and there where you feel at your place and you feel like you're being productive and it's fun, it's cool. Just like I'm doing right now. I'm filming a YouTube video on a Saturday. I have like 2 followers on YouTube, 2 subscribers, and I'm working on something, on a project. I could be working on my business right now, or I could be hunting, or I could be doing anything, but I just want to do this because I think it's cool. I think it's a cool project. And by the way, I'm not saying like do whatever you want every single day and stop working and just go travel and just, no, that would be unreasonable of me, because obviously we all have goals, we all have projects that we want to work on. But what I'm saying is try to prioritize the things you enjoy, the things you're working for, because when you get them and you refuse them, you're essentially just saying to yourself that whatever you've been working for, you won't achieve, because you just won't ever let yourself enjoy those things. Find a way to prioritize life instead of just going to prioritize work every single time. One way to do that, I think, would be to batch your work in a couple of days, like have really intense work days, and then having like 2 or 3 days where you're more relaxed and you're more focused on being present and enjoying the opportunities, the fruits of your labor, right? But the other point that I wanted to make in this video, specifically regarding the schedule, I think a lot of people hate on the 9 to 5 schedule these days, nowadays. But honestly, I think it's there for a reason. I think it's one of the most reasonable and best ways to be productive, but also to live life and prioritize enjoying the passage of time. Maybe you're against the 9 to 5. Maybe you don't want to have a certain set hour of beginning and of ending for every single day of your week. And that's fine. You know, you don't have to do that. But I think having that set schedule of working from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. is a really great way to prioritize your life outside of work, because, you know, from 5 to 9 the next morning you're not working, and on the weekends you're not working. I think it's a good way to make sure that you're never going to lose yourself in the work. Make sure that you'll be able to say yes to opportunities to take advantage of the work you're doing. So obviously, like anything, there's nuance to this. I think we're all different. We all have to figure out our own schedules, figure out our own balances. But for me, that's really what I found. It's try to stick to a regular 9 to 5 schedule. And most of the time when you're working really focused hours, 9 to 5, you're going to be ahead of the people that say 16 hours a day, because they're not really focused. They haven't taken the time to feed their soul. And I think that's really important. So yeah, figure out your own schedule, figure out your own balance. Really what I found to work: 9 to 5 on the weekdays. Sometimes little exceptions where I'm going to get a bear hunting opportunity on a Thursday, and I'll just, you know, place the work day that I had on that Thursday on the Saturday that's coming. But yeah, try to figure out something that's relatively stable and that lets you room to breathe a little bit. And don't think too much about it either. Just try to follow what your instincts say. Because if your soul is not fed, I don't think your business is going to do very well, or your creative project, or whatever it is. So I hope this helped you a little bit. I hope this is maybe going to have you reflect a little bit on your schedule and your situation, and just try to stop listening to reels of salespeople saying that you have to work all day every day. And I think these people generally are being less productive than even 9 to 5ers that are really focused on their work. And also stop listening to people that just say that there's no like balance to be had. You know, like it's not just a big blend of things. I don't think so. I think you have to balance it out, but I don't think you have to do mathematical equations in your life to try to figure out the best system for yourself. You know, try to take it easy, just chill out and say yes to things. Don't put yourself in a box, and work hard, and I think you're gonna be fine. If you like the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And like I said, I'm at like 2 subscribers right now, but I'm trying to grow this channel, trying to start a little bit of a personal brand, and share this to someone who you think this might help. And that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys in the next one.